Gaza right now, it's one of the most expensive places in the
Really?
world right now, and the most dangerous places in the world right now. But it's much worse in the north because none of the aid is actually getting there. So in terms of South Gaza, they're undergoing starvation, some serious starvation.
هلقيت بالنسبة للوضع بغزة يوم من الأيام
Although there's a little food that is coming in here and there.
كل السلع اللي بيحتاجينها بشكل يومي مش موجودة في السوق.
The Israelis are not allowing these medications to enter. There's the safe area, constant planes above their heads. He says, of course it's genocide when every day you see kids in the hospital. What's that? It's a clear genocide. It can't be anything else.
Today, alhamdulillah, we are going to host a very, very, very important stream. So I ask now, for the sake of Allah, please share the stream for the sake of Allah, because today we have some very important voices. We have Ahmed Hijazi, who is a part of the press in Gaza. He's been there for how long? Over 100 days?
The whole thing, man.
Over 100 days, about 130, 140 days in Gaza. He's been there for the whole experience. We also have Sister Yasmin, who just escaped Gaza into Egypt. Alhamdulillah, we're going to be hearing their very, very important stories so we can know firsthand what's going on and decipher any of the lies that we've been told through the atrocity propaganda that Israel and other governments have been spreading. So firstly, I want to know what is going on in Gaza right now and what are some of the most recent developments. What are the things that he needs the world to know right now?
طيب مرحبا جميعا. أنا أحمد حجازي فلسطيني من غزة.
My name is Ahmed Hijazi. I'm a Palestinian from Gaza. I work in the press and media. This is before the events of October 7th. And after it, I've been tracking and recording all of the events that are happening on the ground.
يعني لو بدنا نحكي عن آخر التطورات.
So in terms of South Gaza, they're undergoing starvation, some serious starvation. So when it comes to the South, he says it's not much better, although there's a little food that is coming in here and there. But in terms of the occupying folks, they're pretty much constant bombing of civilians and killing, and they pretty much don't feel safe at this time. But it's much worse in the north because none of the aid is actually getting there. So that's why they're at the point of real starvation. It's actually happening.
I see. Why is the aid not getting in? I know there are lines of trucks in Egypt. What's stopping them?
قطاع غزة دخلوا علشان يقدروا أهل غزة.
So imagine they were used to getting about 500 of those trucks daily.
Yeah.
All the products that they need on a daily basis is not available in the market. All that's coming in is barely enough. He says, and even when it enters, keep in mind that in Gaza right now, it's one of the most expensive places in the world right now, and the most dangerous places in the world right now. Some of the products are, by the international organizations are coming in for free for general aid, but also they leave a portion for the, just businessmen in general.
Really?
But what the products that they're giving them are things like, andouille, chocolates, some frozen chicken here and there, but not really what they need for their, just general good nutrition for a daily basis.
Really?
So it's also what's coming in, and the quantity is not enough as well.
I see. I want to ask Yasmin what it was like for her, because she was a civilian living there, having to survive with this very little humanitarian aid that's making it through. So what was it like for her?
هلقيت بالنسبة للوضع بغزة يوم من الأيام.
Mazboot, he was saying that a lot of the products that were coming in was canned products that had already been either expired or gone bad as well.
Oh my God.
So, and there's not enough variety. That's a big issue as well.
لما أخذته بكتير صعوبة كمان.
Again, just reiterating that, first of all, it's not clean, right? A lot of the products, it's difficult to come by. People are sick. It's also difficult to attain that. You have to get out and put yourself in danger.
تعرف إنه في بعض المعلبات أصلا الحيوانات ما تقبلتها.
Oh my God. He says, do you know that we would open some of these canned foods and the animals would refuse to eat it?
يعني أنا كنت مش لاقين هذا العلاج لأنه أصلا مش موجود في السوق وإسرائيل ما بتسمح بدخول العلاج.
And also another issue, like in some of the areas we have, imagine you have 500,000 people displaced, and many of them are sick and they're trying to get into the hospitals, but there's no medicine. Thousands, he's saying, need, like typical, like people with diabetes, people with cancer that need daily meds. The Israelis are not allowing these medications to enter.
You're not letting the medications enter.
Not the medications.
So like insulin, and I don't get it. Why are they stopping this?
أكثر من ثلثينهم أطفال ونساء. هل الأطفال والنساء هم يعتبروا مقاومة؟
He said this is part of the ethnic cleansing. He says, the majority, 2/3 of the people dying are like women and children. What does it have to do here with the resistance, right? Yeah. What are they worried about? But it's part of their plan for complete ethnic cleansing or genocide.
Wow.
كل حدا أنت بتعرفه ما بين فقيد، ما بين أسير، ما بين شهيد، ما بين مفقود، فأكيد هذه إبادة جماعية.
He says it's very clear. Like any house, typically like 40 people in it, women and children, they murder them all, except for those that Allah has written, maybe one or two souls survive. He says, sleeping in Rafah, the constant, this is supposed to be the safe zone.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a safe area, constant planes above their heads. He says, of course it's genocide when every day you see kids in the hospital. What's that? It's a clear genocide. It can't be anything else.
The reason I ask this is because recently Israel claimed that they have a 1-for-1 ratio, that for every one innocent civilian they kill one Hamas member. But that doesn't make sense when 2/3 of the people killed were women and children, unless you're going to argue that women and children are part of Hamas or something.
Yeah.
I want to ask Yasmin a bit more about her story and
No.
about her family, if she's lost people due to either starvation or sickness or being killed by Israel, and what the journey from Gaza to across the Rafah border to Egypt is like.
Very good question. Isn't
كلنا
anybody
فقدنا
having
ناس
left
بنحبها.
us? We all lost people that we love. Her grandmother passed away because she ran out of medicine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he says first we were in North Gaza, and then they asked us to evacuate to towards the south, and it wasn't safe. So we headed towards an area called Deir al-Balah, and we were fine for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they started that area, which they were telling people to go for safety.
Yeah.
And then they decided to just, move again towards Rafah, further south, closer to the Egyptian border.
Yeah. So at that point, they can't go any further south except if they go into Egypt.
Exactly.
Right?
والمجازر كلها اللي مشهورة واللي صارت في ال 48 وما بعد ال 48.
He's saying that obviously this didn't start on October 7th. It started way before that, and there's been many massacres. And he's mentioned Deir Yassin. It's like they steal our land. The land belongs to us, and then we're the problem, right? We're the terrorists.
Yeah.
This is the issue. And then he's saying that they're always, since before even October 7th, from the beginning, they're just constant lies. You can't trust anything that they tell you. They're always constantly trying to hide the truth.
Obviously, the reason for that is because they need the support of the international community to be able to do something this atrocious.
Of course, that's the propaganda.
Yeah.
قتل هذا الرجل اللي رافع الراية البيضاء. بعد هيك طلع الاحتلال الإسرائيلي واعترف إنه قتل الراجل بالخطأ.
So one of the thousands of lies that they lied, he says, I was with a group of like 5 people that are trying to, get out of the south and head towards where their family was in danger to help save them. A group of 5 people, and they were waving a white, flag, just we mean no harm.
Yeah.
And they shot him down right in front of him. I watched the video on his Instagram page. CNN ended up taking the video. Initially, they denied and lied about it. And when CNN pushed the video, then they said, yes, but we did it by mistake. We shot him by mistake.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what they do every single time. They did that with their own Israeli hostages who were taken hostage in Gaza as well. They shot them and then denied they shot them. And then when it was proven, they said, oh, it was an accident. They do this every single time.
Exactly. And their main thing is to cover the truth with lies and also to achieve their agenda.
So what was Rafah like? We know that Rafah is the farthest they can go into what Israel said is the safe zone. So what is it like being in the safe zone and still having it bombed? What's really going on?
وين بدنا نروح هذا
He
أصعب
says,
سؤال.
this is the question everyone's asking in Gaza now. Now what? Where are we going to go from here?
أسوأ إشي يصير إلنا إنه ننزع على مكان غير بلدنا.
The worst thing that can happen is that we're displaced to a place that is not our country. This is the minimum. Anybody that wants to leave Gaza needs a minimum of $5,000. So basically saying when it comes to being displaced, if it's out of their country, the Gazan won't accept that. But if they open the border for me to travel and the war to finish so I can come back to my country, yes, that's an option. But if they feel like they're pushing them purely, to be displaced in tents outside of the country, that's not going to pass easily.
It's a huge violation of international law to force 2 million people into a desert to live in tents, especially if you don't have any plans of providing them with any means to survive in the desert, which clearly they're not providing with the means to survive in as far south in Gaza as possible.